With the release of the next Zombies map, Shattered Veil, just around the corner, coming out next week on April the 2nd, because Treyarch have just confirmed that it's going to be releasing a day early, they've gone ahead and done a podcast, and within it, they reveal a couple of bits of information about the map. If you haven't been staying up to date with what's been going on in the community, everyone's been going mad that we haven't had a intro cutscene yet, which I would have said a few months ago is abnormal, but considering we didn't get an intro cutscene for The Tomb, which was the last map, it's not really a surprise that we also haven't got one for DLC 3. Clearly something is going on here. Is it a worry? Looking at past games where we haven't got intro cutscenes for DLC maps, such as Cold War and Vanguard, you could look at those games and say, maybe us having no intro cutscenes for the past two maps is a sign of what's to come and what's going on with this game's DLC lifecycle. I definitely think that's a valid way to look at it, because I think Treyarch would, if they could, make an intro cutscene for every Zombies map. Why wouldn't they want to? One, they're cool to watch, and two, they can normally tell at least a little bit of story through them. They're always handy, as the name implies, they give you an introduction to that Zombies map, and so when they start to not give us intro cutscenes for maps, it can be a sign, as it's been in the past, that Treyarch are experiencing problems. It could just be that they don't have time, it could be that they have run out of budget and so are having to spread it out in areas that are perhaps more important. They might value creating an ending cutscene more than they do an intro. As we saw in BO3 and 4, ideally you would get both, and I think Treyarch would like to do that, but where they are right now, it does seem like they may be having some problems, and so have had to cut intro cutscenes and just give us ending cutscenes instead. And the final thing I'll say on that is, well, if you look at the intro cutscene that we had for Citadel Day More, it really didn't provide anything. It just showed our characters travelling to the castle and meeting back up with Revanov, but they could have easily done that in game. I don't think that intro cutscene was really necessary, but it was a nice addition. The Liberty Falls intro cutscene is super important, so is the Terminus one to a lesser extent, so it really just depends on what Treyarch do with them. We've had loads of boring intros, but we've also had loads that end up being better and more important and more informative than ending cutscenes. So if for Shattered Veil, the intro cutscene would be boring and wouldn't give us anything, then I could see why they'd say, you know what, let's just not do one and focus all of that time, effort and money on the ending cutscene instead. But at the same time, if the intro cutscene does end up being pretty irrelevant, then that's all on Treyarch, right? They can make it whatever they want. If it ends up being boring, well, that's their fault. They could make it as interesting as they want, even if there's not much story they can tell in it. So yeah, the point I'm making is, unless they're keeping it from us until the day of the map's release, it doesn't seem like we're getting an intro cutscene for the next map, which could be a sign of things to come, or at least what's going on in the background. They might be facing problems. But as I mentioned earlier on, Call of Duty have done a brand new podcast, and within it for a couple of minutes they spoke about Shattered Veil. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they said.
Next question, moving over to Zombies. Hey Treyarch, are the amalgams going in the new map?
So, if you've been paying attention, you may have seen last week that Treyarch was putting out some fun social teases about the new map, which is Shattered Veil, arriving with Season 3, and someone said, hey, what about all those amalgams? You know, we had them way back in Terminus, are they coming to the new map? And Treyarch replied with a simple nope.
Awesome.
Period.
Done.
So I will also reply with a nope. And the Zombies team at Treyarch, you know, this is all because they pay very close attention to the feedback about all of the familiar types of special and elite enemies coming after players, you know, especially recently on the Tomb. And they've taken that to heart for Shattered Veil. So no amalgams. But you are going to see a preview of what is waiting for you in the mansion in tomorrow's gameplay trailer. So stay tuned.
They did a Q&A. One of the first questions they got asked regarding Zombies was if the amalgams are going to be in Shattered Veil, to which the answer is no. And we knew this one before anyway, because a week or two ago somebody asked Treyarch this over on Instagram and they said no. They also got asked if the abominations are going to be in the map, and again they said no. So thank God neither of those two enemies are returning, because let's be honest, the abominations are super annoying, and the amalgams, we've seen them in Terminus, Citadel Day More, the Tomb, so 3 out of the 4 maps at this point. Thankfully we aren't seeing them return again in Shattered Veil. Treyarch have been listening to the community's feedback when it comes to elite and special enemies, so they've heard our complaints about annoying boss spam. Unfortunately, I think a little bit too late, because it was something we complained about all the way back in Liberty Falls, with us having loads of manglers on the map. Everybody complained about the amalgams being on Citadel, yet they still reintroduced them on the Tomb, so they could have listened a little bit earlier. They knew this was a complaint, but at least those bosses aren't coming back. It does make me question then, what will the special enemy be for the new map. It could be the Doppelgasts, it could be the Manglers, I suppose, but I feel like it's going to be something new. I also don't want to see the Parasites or the Vermin. It'd be great if we could have a new special round, kind of like we used to get in Black Ops 3. We had the Hellhounds, then we had the Spiders, then we had the Valkyrie drones, then we had the Parasites. For the most part, they mixed it up between maps. That hasn't happened as of late. We've had the Parasites or the Amalgams in every map, so if they could introduce a new special round enemy as well, even if it's just bringing back the Hellhounds because we haven't seen them so far in Black Ops 6, that'd be, to me at least, the ideal situation.
How big is the next Zombies map going to be then?
This is a little bit of a don't believe everything you read on the internet moment.
What do you mean by that?
Staggering. Who would have thunk? But I have it on good authority from the team at Treyarch that Shattered Veil is in fact bigger than the Tomb and Liberty Falls. So think size-wise, more of a traditional round-based experience. Ooh. Like Citadel, I think is a good size comparison for Shattered Veil.
Awesome. Very much fun size, but not fun size. Cool. Right on.
The next question they were asked was, how big is Shattered Veil? And the answer we basically got is it's about the same size as Citadel de Mort, which does seem to be the average size of a Zombies map. The Tomb was quite small. I don't know if it was because of the layout, the different levels, and all of the buildings you could go in, but it felt like Liberty Falls was quite a big Zombies map as well. I mean, it had zip lines, it wasn't that small. I don't know the metrics. Citadel de Mort, for all I know, could be way bigger. I haven't measured. But yeah, it sounds like the map's just going to be an average size Zombies map. It's not going to be small, as some of the leaks and rumors suggested. There was a lot of stuff going around saying that it's going to be tiny. Looking at the images that we got, it doesn't look too big, but obviously there's going to be way more areas for us to explore that we haven't seen in the intro cutscene for Liberty Falls or the teasers Treyarch have given us. There's the actual mansion itself we're going to be going in. There's also the underground section, it seems like, where Sam is. That may be a playable area as well, unless it's just the boss fight arena. And from the looks of it, just like on Dead of the Night, we can also go outside as well. So the map's actually pretty big, or a decent size. I just hope they've been able to pack enough character into it so that it doesn't feel like a big empty open map. There's actual atmosphere in every corner that you look.
I've got another Zombies question, got another one. Can we get some info on the next perk, please?
You sure can, partner, because we'll find out tomorrow.
I've got questions.
And the final question they're asked was about the new perk, and the reply we got was pretty much a confirmation that it's going to be double tap. Now, if we didn't have the leaks before this telling us that double tap is coming back, I would have said, could it be Tombstone maybe, because of the cowboy hat? But so many credible leakers have told us that double tap is coming back in this map, and because we are so close to its release date, exactly 1 week away, it's unlikely that things are going to be wrong at this point. So to me, that's confirmation that double tap is coming back. I'm really interested to see how that's gonna work, because if you don't know, it essentially doubles the power of your weapon, and whilst we have augments in Black Ops 6, so it could be that you only get double damage through an augment, still, surely that totally messes up the balance of the game, right? In Shattered Veil, it might be okay because the map's been designed around you being able to do double damage, but for older maps like Liberty Falls, Terminus, if you can now go back and play them by double tap and be twice as strong as you were, surely those maps are going to be a hell of a lot easier, no? That boss fight against Patient 13 in Terminus, being able to do double damage against him, all of a sudden goes from a quite difficult fight to something easy-ish? I don't know, because Black Ops 6 Zombies hasn't been designed around double tap like past games that had it, I'm interested to see how they're gonna balance it. And the fact that they've even brought it back in the first place, we haven't seen double tap since Black Ops 3. Treyarch got rid of it for a reason, because it was a clutch perk, something that everybody has, so to bring it back, I'm not complaining, I just want to see how it's going to work and what the augments for it are going to be. So that was all the information we got from the podcast. I've done a few videos already talking about the potential storyline of the map. I will leave the link to that in the description below if you haven't seen it already. Because it takes place within Richtofen's mansion, the place where he's set up base, obviously, I would hope so anyway, there's going to be tons of Easter eggs and references towards Edward Richtofen. I doubt we'll see him in the map because he's been taken into the Dark Ether, we think, but there should at least be loads of references towards him, along with Sam being in the basement. Treyarch have really got to amp up the story in this map because so far it's been pretty slow, which has turned a lot of people off. This is the map for me that Treyarch have to get right. Otherwise, I think this game is done. They've just turned too many people off. Where if they get this one wrong, then it's going to be super difficult to pull it back for the final revelation in DLC 405. But yeah, stay tuned to the channel because tomorrow we are getting a trailer and then the map releases in 1 week's time on the 2nd of April. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.